Magnum Nutraceuticals is the official supplement partner of wellness in the multiverse. They are the only supplements I trust because everything is done with integrity. Not to mention, the formulas are backed by science and they only use the highest quality ingredients. Whether you're looking for 100% isolate protein powder, your favorite daily vitamin performance pack, or a complete pre-workout, Magnum has it covered. Shop Magnum at magnumsoup.com and use my code JOGANGI to save. As this is the first episode, Magnum and I are giving supplements. Oh yeah, you heard it. What THOR would use as supplements, we looked into it, and the Big C creatine, limitless pre-workout, and a quattro tub of protein. If you want a chance to win it, tag me at Jogangi Trainer and Magnum at Magnum Soups in a story and answer the question, how many calories does the comic book version of Thor has to eat in order to keep its weight? Hello and welcome to Wellness in the Multiverse. My name is Jonathan and this is a show where we look at your favorite superheroes and their lifestyle. How would they achieve their level of fitness? What kind of workout do they have to do to improve and keep saving worlds? We cover everything from fitness, food, stress, and so much more to bring you the most accurate health journey of your heroes. Now let's look at all of it. Alright, so in honor of the movie that is coming out this week, we wanted to look at Thor. I wanted to look at Thor. Who is Thor? That's the most important question right now. Obviously, we want to keep everyone up to date. At this point, you probably heard of him. If not, where were you all these years? And if not, you are so lucky. Now you can just go back, sit down, and watch all that cinematic universe from scratch, and it will be amazing. I'm jealous, honestly. If I could just erase those movies out of my mind and just go back fresh and listen and just looking at all of them again, I would be so happy. So the movie version of Thor is played by Chris Hemsworth. We'll look at also the comic book version, which is more of the one that we want to look at, but it doesn't really matter for his power because the movie version and the comic book version do have the same power. So, which are immortality, we'll look into that, superhuman strength, that would be a bit complicated for fitness, speed, and durability. Thor is the strongest Avenger. Yeah, according to him. But I would bet he is. Again, depends. Is Captain Marvel is there. I'd like to see that happening. Just them going at each other just to know for real. Just tell me, do you think Captain Marvel will win against Thor? I don't know. I'd like to see that. So Thor is the Prince of Asgard, son of Odin, and brother of Loki. Loki's adopted. Protector of Asgard and heir to the throne. It's a lot of titles. It's a lot of stuff to live up to. I mean, you're the Prince of Asgard. You're just born into it, right? And then Odin's your father. He's just Odin. Insane. And now you tell me at young age, I'm like 20, I'm like, oh yeah, it's so okay, you tell me I need to protect Asgard. I gotta fight every day to do that. That's cool. And then one day I'll be the king. Might come with a lot of stress. Might come with a lot of anxiety, sleepless nights, lots of fighting also. So that keeps you fit. But all that cortisol going through your veins as you stress and you live in anxiety, no wonder he gets into a bit of a midlife crisis, I would say, as probably we'll see in the movie, that midlife crisis happening. Drinks a lot. We've seen that. He can down a beer quite easily. So recovery part of that, I would give that to his super strength. I would give that to like the speed, probably. This is his metabolism. Just like you can probably drink a ton of beer and still that wouldn't matter. But then again, yeah, if it was human, forget it. He's not working out the next day. Clearly not. Also, he's not fighting the next day. Can you imagine that? He also fought on Midgard with the Avenger, where he meets Jane Foster, which we see again in Love and Thunder. Might be a controversial opinion, but I'm very happy to see her back. It might just be me, but I like her a lot, and she's very fit in that movie. Can't wait to see like what happened from on that end as well. Also, he lost to Thanos on his ship. Lost like Asgard, all of Asgard. Kind of insane. Lost his brother as well. His brother died to Thanos. I know you know that. I hope you know that, because it's very important for his fitness in the movie. Because, well, he gets overweight. He goes into a big depression for a couple of years where he just plays video game, drink, and probably eats like he should. Way too many calories for what he does. So he gets overweight for a couple of years there, which is around, I would say, 5 to 7 years, because the blip happened for 5 years. So at this point, he just starts to get in that depression and overweight. And let's give him a bit of a breather to jump back on his feet and just start working out again and doing everything again. So maybe a year, maybe a year or two. So let's say that Thor is overweight for 7 years. Thor is immortal. In the movie, Odin dies between 5,000 to 10,000 years old. The movie version of Thor should be around 1,500 years old. So, based on the fact that, let's give Odin the benefit of the doubt that he died of old age. And he died at 7,500 years old. Young, right? Very young. Based on that longevity, that's old age. That's where Asgardian god die, 7,500 years old, give or take a year or two. Thor could be overweight for 7 years. That would be 0.1% of his life. What it means exactly is that he could be that overweight for that long, which is the equivalent for us mere mortals, humans, being overweight for 36 days. That's not even a dirty bulk. In winter, I would put like 10, 15 pounds on me. And, well, he does more than that, but I don't do more than that because I don't have the time after that to go for like longer or bigger or whatever and just increase my strength, increase everything, it doesn't do that for that. But I don't have that time because I know after that it's going to take a while for me to go back to fit just for a pound and a half of muscles, and I would have had to gain like 30 pounds of fat during all winter, during months, maybe year. So I don't do it. I don't recommend anyone doing that kind of a dirty bulk as well. It would be completely insane. But so that's 36 days. So let's give him like a year to come back on his feet and work out. Let's say he goes on his fitness journey for a year. So he pushes hard, he does everything, eats right, move a lot, all that. Lift a bunch of mountains because that's what he needs to lift. And he could do that for a year, and that would be the equivalent for us, again, mere mortals, getting back in shape and fit in 8 hours. 8 hours. I don't know about you, but I can't do that. If I wake up at 9 in the morning and I have 30 pounds on me at 5 p.m., I'm not chiseled. Not yet. I probably worked out an hour in my day and moved a bit and walked and did everything I needed to do. No chance No chance. So yeah, that's that equivalence. So that's he has time on his end, so it's very much easier for him in that sense. Because could you imagine how much we wouldn't care? You can be overweight for 50 years, still would mean nothing. Would mean nothing. You just get back in shape in 2, 3, 4 years. It's what 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah, insane. Now let's look at his size, right? Let's first look at Chris Hemsworth. He's 6'2", around 215 pounds, so 98 kilos, and his BMI is around 27.4. I've estimated the calorie intake he would need, and in order to just keep his weight, let's say right there that Thor has to be extremely active. He's fighting, he's working out, he's moving left and right, training. He's extremely active. He's not watching Netflix. That's not what he does. So to keep his weight, he would need around 4,000 calories a day. It's not an easy feat to do at this size to just keep your weight. Then again, he has his powers, but does the powers help with keeping your size if you are in a calorie deficit? Because with all that fighting going on, he's fairly lean, like very lean, but that's all power. Because there's no way he can be that lean year round and being able to have that energy to fight. I don't know if you've ever been to 8% body fat, but you're just tired. So it would need to be at least 13% year round. So pretty much 4,000 calories in order to keep his size. But let's look at the comic book version of Thor. He's bigger, obviously. There's not a lot of actors that can get to the comic book version of their counterpart, right? They make them so big, so lean and mean. There's The Rock that can do it. I'm eager to see what he's done with Black Adam. So the comic book version of Thor is 6'6", 198 centimeters, right? So his body mass, his BMI, I've estimated it to around 32. I gave him like 2 points over The Rock at the same height. He's the same height, right? But I gave him 2 points, over The Rock just because I wanted them to be bigger than The Rock because he's a comic book version. He's like the ultimate thing, meaning he's 275 pounds, 125 kilos. If he wants to keep his weight, because obviously him as well, the comic book version of Thor is extremely active. So in order to keep his weight, he would need around 4,600 calories a day, maybe a bit more. Never fought on Midgard, never fought aliens. Pretty sure it takes a lot out of you, right? No way you fight aliens without burning a couple calories there. And if you wanted to gain size, let's say he wants to go like, okay, I'm 275 pounds. I want to get to 280 because I want to be bigger and meaner. And I want to instill fear in my enemies. Because yeah, why not? He would need 5,200 calories a day in order to gain around a pound a week. I don't want to have to do that. That's 2,000 calories more than what I need to do to gain a pound a week. And it's hard. Can get there. And there's no McDonald's. Getting to 5,000 calories on crappy food, you can do it. Everyone can. Go to Starbucks in the morning, McDonald's on lunch, and then, have a pizza for dinner. You can do it, but that's not how he does it. We'll look at it a bit later on, but he eats clean. Eating healthy and clean is not a lot of calories, and you need to eat more and more often in order to do it. Let's look at stress for a second. As I said before, he has to being able to lower his stress and anxiety in order to keep his focus, in order to keep his fitness, his strength, and also his energy. Stress can slow down your progress. Stress is a very high factor in all your fitness journey and might be the same pretty sure it's the same for the god of thunder. He has to fight, lead, train on top of his personal life. He has to protect Asgard, try being the brother of Loki. Pretty sure it comes with a lot of stress as well. As a god, I would bet he's highly spiritual and might take a lot of time to get grounded, get centered on his self, his own self, his identity, refocus, bring back his attention, lower his stress and anxiety through meditation. God or not, we should all take a bit of a breather in our day just to sit down, refocus, think about nothing. Honestly, we all think about too much stuff anyway. So just sit down, think about nothing. And I'm sure it helps him a lot. In the comic book, as well as in the movies, he's on his own path. He never seemed to want a throne, and all that came with it. Odin is highly powerful and a wise man. He never really felt like he could live up to that expectation. We are no different in that sense. We all have our own expectations out of what we're doing, and we're trying to live up to standards that sometimes are unrealistic or just very, very high and stressful. So just sitting down and breathing, I would bet he does a lot of it. Also, lots of fighting, and he enjoys a good fight. And I'm pretty sure that's a place where he can relieve his stress. Please don't do that. I don't recommend that at all, but that's how Thor might just get his stress out. I do it through fitness. I just go in a gym and I work out, and that's my stress reliever. He fights. Well, I guess we're different. But different or not, he has to have a lot of mobility, as do we. Thor does not have the power to fly. However, he can throw Mjolnir, well, his hammer, if you didn't know. He can throw Mjolnir so fast and with such power that it makes it seem like he can fly. Yeah. Can you imagine the force applied to his shoulders at liftoff? Any other person would just have his arm ripped right off. He clearly takes a lot of time and care to mobility and health of his shoulder. He has to. There's no other way around that. Pretty sure most of his workouts, most of his day is just stretching the chest, working on his rhomboids and the rotator cuffs. Lots of big circle of motion with light weight, lots of stretching. There's some great exercise you can do with Mjolnir for sure. If I was him, I would be leaning on doors all day. A good doorway stretch works wonders. Light reverse flies, external rotation, some shoulder wall slide, and lots of chest expansion work. Lots and lots and lots of yoga. No way he can fight with Mjolnir all day, throw that, fly with it without having good shoulder. Can you imagine him for a second going in a fight and telling his enemies, "Can you give me a second? My shoulder hurts today." Most people, shoulder hurts. That's just the way 2022 works. We're on our computer all day, and then on our phone, everything is just pushed to the front, and we need to expand our chest. So again, probably half of his workout, half of his day after that meditation, right? Just before he gets for his good workout, I'm sure he takes a lot of time working on his shoulder. Now we only have two other things to look at. The bigger one, the one we want to know, what Thor eats on a day-to-day basis. What's his diet? What does he do on Asgard and elsewhere as well? He travels a lot. So what does he do on Asgard? I looked at the Vikings because he's the Norse god of thunder. So I looked up the Nordic diet, and I used MyFitnessPal just to look at a day, and we'll look at it together as well. I went with around 250 grams of protein to 275. I got as high as 279 grams of protein, but I did not get to that 4,600 calories because, as I said before, it's a lot. And also, I did not account for all the vegetables he would put in his plates. So that has calories, but I did not account them. So this is why I got to 4,000 calories only. So what is the Nordic diet? It's a lot of fruits, vegetables, lots of whole grains, fruit from the sea, lake, and the wild, higher quality meat, and obviously no processed and sugary food. Pretty sure Asgard does not have McDonald's. I would bet. So I look at the typical macro. They could look like, well, obviously the comic book version, as we talked about, is 275 pounds. So I went with the classic, and I went with a gram of protein per pound of lean body mass, and he's fairly lean. So 275 grams of protein made a lot of sense, which is around 25% of his diet. With all the nuts, seeds, seafood, low sugar diet, he might get around 45% of his diet from fat, and the rest, 30 to 35% from carbs. It means at the end of the day, he would get around 400 grams of carb a day. On a fighting day, probably would have to increase that 275 grams of protein a day. It's not easy, but on 4,600 calories, it's doable. I don't know if Magnum ships to Asgard. We should look into that. But I bet he enjoys a good smoothie post-workout, as one should. As I said, getting to 4,600 calories is no easy task. And I input everything in my MyFitnessPal just to look at it, and I only got to 4,000 calories. His breakfast could look like something has blueberries, like 2 cups blueberries, 4 large eggs. Don't forget he's big. Don't forget he's Thor, okay? We're not looking at the normal human being here. So that's why 4 eggs, you're like, what? That's a lot. Yeah, it's not small. He's big. Comes with spinach, obviously, so lots of leafy greens, a cup of oats, almond milk, pumpkin seed, just to put in with his blueberry and make it a good, oatmeal in the morning. So that will give him about 1,200 calories, so something in that range. Then he would have lunch. I put elk, 200 grams of elk for fun, because wild animal. I'm sure he has it, with leafy green, vegetable, and some oil. So around, again, 600 calories for his lunch. Then dinner could be salmon, lots of salmon, 500 calories of salmon. Brown rice, again, 2 cup. He's big. And I went ahead and put another lunch in there, 4th lunch at this point. So breakfast, lunch 1, lunch 2, and then lunch 3 could be cod fish, 200 grams, quinoa, something like this, somewhere around 350 calories. And then his snacks. He has to snack. People, we have to snack, okay? No one can get to the amount of calories needed without a good snack. That's my belief anyway. So almonds, lots of almonds, 300 calories of almonds. Pistachios, 50 grams of pistachios, which is around 300 calories. Then berries, 2 cups of berries for snacks. It's a good snack. So I put skyr. I don't know if Asgard has skyr. I bet they have some type of yogurt So I just went ahead with and put skyr in there, 300 calories of it. And that gets me to 4,000 calories, 40% fat, 30% carbs, and 28% protein. 41, 31, 28 to be exact. Pretty close to what we were looking at, right? It's very, very close. So that's 4,000 calories on a good day, on good meals. And just again, it's another 600 calories he has to take in. So maybe he would just eat more of all of it if he doesn't want to eat another lunch, for example. So just increasing the amount he has. Now for the workouts. Let's do a quick recap first on his powers, as they are very relevant to the way he has to do things. He is immortal, so he has 1,500 years of advantage so far on us. He has 1,500 years of movement patterns and practice and overload and tension and all those good stuff. That makes it very easy for him to go back to his workout and not waste time on figuring out how does a squat works. He's done it over and over and over and over again. He has super strength, speed, and durability. One of his main problems to gain muscle and weight would be progressive overload. Hard to do with those superpowers. The way you usually do it is by progressively increasing reps, adding weights, and playing with tempo, intensity, and all that stuff. You progressively add on top of what you were doing before, right? The week before, last workout, all of it. Since he's extremely strong, endurant, fast, he would have to lift odd objects, unless Asgard built him a facility to do it. We could look into that. That would be nice. He would have to find very heavy objects and move with them, curling a tree, then finding a bigger tree and repeating that. So at some point, how big can a tree be? Durability is also a tough one to improve. I mean, to improve on durability, he has to do extremely long cardio sessions or very fast ones. Those are the two options. He would probably have to sprint a marathon to feel something. And then at the end of that marathon, if you want to improve on that, he has to do that same distance faster or go further with the same speed he was doing the previous marathon. So again, for that progressive overload. So it's very hard to do. I made a list of things you can find on Asgard just for fun. I get trees, rocks, mountains, columns, statues, ships. There's a forge, so found that. It's nice. I mean, they can build him something to work with. Things need to be so big they would be inconvenient to lift. Imagine you need to curl a couch to make gains. Not very convenient. That's why we have gyms to do it, right? It's way more easy, way more convenient to do so. Let's go with it anyway. A typical week could look like this. Let's forget the movements like curls, tricep extensions, side raises. No time for that. He doesn't need that. He only uses the big lifts and work functionally, efficiently. He doesn't have time to go and do a bunch of curls just for show. His muscles and biceps and triceps will grow from every other workout he does anyway. So Monday is strength and conditioning day. He could do farmer's carry, for example, but he would have to carry the farm itself. Walking with big rocks or big trees for a very long distance to do those farmer's carry. That's pretty much what he had to do. Deadlifting a statue and then finding a bigger statue to deadlift. Rope pulling a big boat. Could do that. I mean, if the boat is heavy enough, you could just rope pull that. Nice for your back, nice for your biceps, all of this. Conditioning could be broad jumps if the space allows it. If you can jump far enough, because I'm pretty sure he jumps very far. With Mjolnir, you could do like some Mjolnir swings, like kettlebell swings. And some, back squatting a ship, tire flipping, but there's no tire that would do it. So wreckage flipping, could just find a nice wreckage and then flip that over and over and over again. Tuesday would be mobility and cardio. That long, fast run takes a bunch of time to do those long runs. So it's the thing you could do on that day. So Tuesday could be that, mobility cardio. Wednesday is fight training. That's where you can find a good opponent to bring him, a nice cardio and shoulder workout. By the way, most shoulder exercise would be provided by the volume of fighting. I don't think he goes and does a bunch of shoulder press and exercise of that type, just because most of his shoulder work will be done through fighting. Lots of volumes might come from that. Thursday is endurance. We can look into, chest and back. As most things are light, he does not have a lot of ways to hit a good chest and back workout. So volume is kind of his friend there. Lots and lots and lots of repetition. That would be a good thing to do. Like bench pressing a column would probably be it. But then, probably would have to find ways to increase that weight. Friday could be full body day. You could also use the Forge of Asgard to create some kind of apparatus and strap heavy things to him. Could give him access to body weight movements like chin up, pull-ups, lunges, lateral jumps, push-ups, much more than that. But yeah, if he has something like big strapped to his back, that could help a lot into overloading the body and making sure that those body weight, they are not body weight anymore. They would be enough to produce some kind of damage to the muscle tissue and then grow from there. Also, small muscle group for his mobility work. That will be on Friday. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Doesn't have to be all sore for the next day, because Saturday is a real deal. Saturday is preparing for war in an epic fight on another planet. I don't know why Saturday. Guess, it's a good day to do it. You prepare for the week, and then Saturday you have that good fight and big feast at night, and then you recover on Sunday, since Sunday is rest day. He's a god, but we all need rest. So Sunday is rest day, and it would repeat that, with different exercises, obviously, and different types of workout, but that could be a week. If time allows it, you could do some accessory work on some days. It would be on those days that he would add exercises like curls, press, ab workouts, core workouts mostly. He could very well do a bunch of hanging leg raises with some people holding onto his legs. Some back extensions as well, 1,000 weight crunches, and maybe a plank with some big thing strapped to his back, just holding a plank under house, for example. Don't forget, though, that he doesn't need to work out 6-7 times a week. I believe every time he does it with a purpose. He does it with full-on intensity. I'm not sure Asgard has any kind of Instagram or all that social fancy media stuff. So he's not checking his phone between reps. He's just going at it, because every workout he has to do has to be full on. They have to be high intensity. They have to be heavy as much as he can. Or if they are light, they need to be faster. So I don't think he would go for more than 4 to 5 days a week. He could do 3 different days and go from there. Mix those days. But I think the day that we looked at are pretty much enough to create some types of hypertrophy and gains in order to get ready for his life, because that's all he has to do. It's to get ready for what his life looks like. He doesn't need muscle for shows. He works out for a purpose. So that's why I believe he doesn't do a bunch of fancy exercises. He goes for the big ones. He goes at it. He goes with intensity. That's how it works. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to know more about how I can help you make fitness a sustainable lifestyle, you can reach out to me on any social media platform at Joe Gagne Trainer. Thanks again. Till next time.